Hi, everyone. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much. If you do join me tonight, I hope that you do. And if you're joining me from wherever you are, let me know. Say hi. Let me know where you're joining me from. And just a couple things as well before we get started. But thank you so much for Virtual Veg Fest for allowing, asking me to come live. If you didn't already hear, didn't see the announcement as well, I will be doing these live, I guess, Q&As, or reaching your plant-based, unlocking your plant-based potential with Coach Kayla, which is myself, every the first Wednesday of every month. So that is a little bit of a change. So I wanted to mention that. Also, I like to shout out to our Gain, who is Virtual Veg Fest monthly sponsor. And also make sure to like, comment, and follow Virtual Veg Fest on YouTube so you don't miss any of these lives. And as I said, if you're joining me live tonight, let me know, comment below, say hi, let me know where you're from. And also as well, subscribe to their YouTube channel as well so you don't you can always check out any of these live trainings if you do miss them on their YouTube channel. And also you can enter the monthly contest at virtualvegfest.com. So as I said, my name is Coach Kayla. I am a dietitian as well as a certified personal trainer. I'm a plant-based dietitian, nutrition, and run coach as well. And today we're going to be talking about hydration for summer races, and as well as fueling, and really just talking about, how that should look as somebody that is a plant-based athlete. Like how, what should hydration and fueling look like for summer training or races, because wherever you are in the world, most likely it is getting hot. It is warming up, and hydration is such a big topic this time of year because it can really make or break your training runs or even a race. It makes the biggest difference. And I also want to give you guys some recommendations of, these I don't even want to call them sport drinks, right? Because we want to drink things that have electrolytes in them that are good for us, maybe, less of the sugar and stuff that we don't like and don't really agree with our stomach. So I want to give you guys some recommendations on what you can use that is more natural, that you might like a little bit more, and it also is plant-based and vegan as well. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. Let me see. Let me just check on the comments. Okay, I don't see anything here. So yeah, so we'll get started right away. So let's start with, recommendations. So let's start with the recommendations. So recommendations for water is about half your body weight in pounds and ounces is usually a good estimate of your fluid intake. Now this does include, I believe it does include some of the fluid that you do get from your food. So you do want to make sure that you do consider that, and you can include those foods, because in the summertime as well, you may be craving more, maybe even more fruits because they're more water. A lot of our vegetables as well, like celery, right? Good fruit that's really has a lot of water fluid in it is watermelon. That's where it gets its name, because there's so much watermelon, there's nutrients in it, but it's also a lot of fluid. So those are always good too to consider when we're talking about hydration, or you might be not, realizing like, why am I craving this? And it could be if it's, more of a fluid food that has more fluid in it, that could be why that your body is wanting that hydration. So that's a good recommendation. It's for, I would say, for men and women, depends on the ages as well. Before adults is about 8 to 10 cups is a good rough average of what you should be drinking in fluid. So this is about 8 ounces, which is about 1 cup. Okay. So what else? So yes, and water. Oh, also water is not enough for training and races. So this comes up a lot when I work with clients, and A lot of people think that they just need to have water and they can get through it, or maybe, you just put water bottles out for you, or maybe someone's out there giving you water, that kind of thing, or maybe you're stopping on the car and you're on your training runs and grabbing water, or maybe even during a race. They give out water. Sometimes they'll give out, sports drink, but a lot of times, people will just grab that water. Now, when it comes to summer training and summer races, it is very important that you make sure you replace electrolytes. So, what are electrolytes? The most important electrolytes that you lose through sweat are sodium, magnesium, and potassium. Now, if you are low on any of those electrolytes, it can lead to cramping. It could lead to you just being severely dehydrated and feeling really dizzy, weak, fatigue, all of that stuff. I've actually, if you guys are okay with me telling you a quick story, I have experienced heat stroke before after finishing a race. So luckily this was not during the race. I did feel lucky that I had finished my race, but I did run a half marathon in 90-degree weather, was not prepared for it, did not realize it was that hot. I'm originally from New York and we went to Nashville to run this race, and it was just happened to be in April and it happened to be a 90-degree day. So my body was not used to the heat and I was not prepared. I don't think I drank anything on the race whatsoever. Finished the race, I was okay, but then I would say a little bit maybe into it. Let's see. No, a little. Well, no, it was after. So after I finished, I was fine. I would say maybe 10 to 15 minutes after the race, all of a sudden I got really dizzy and thought I was going to pass out. My parents were with me and they took me to the medical tent. He took a wet washcloth, wiped me all down, told me that I, was experiencing heat stroke symptoms. But if we could get some electrolytes in me, water, and just kind of cool my body down, then I would be okay. So it definitely is scary to have heat stroke, and this can happen especially on hot days. And this is because your body is smart. It is trying your body warms up 20 degrees warmer when you run. So you're on hot days, your body, if you're running in 80-degree weather, your body is warming up to 100 degrees. And this is why I don't really like running in 80 degrees. It's usually, for me, it's 80 degrees or less. When it hits 80 degrees, when my body warms up to 100, I can tell and I do not feel good. But I have found when I have my hydration and my fluids on point, I do so much better and I can get through my run. I literally cannot get through my run and just want to walk when I feel like I'm not hydrating. And I actually experienced that last weekend. I did that to myself as well. Not bringing anything, just not thinking, not being prepared, and did a lot of walking because it was really hot. So it really does make a difference, and water is just not enough. Also, some mistakes I see people make is that they think salt is just enough to replace salt. And salt pills are also important, and I do recommend to take 2 salt pills as well as drink 16 to 20 ounces of electrolytes before your run. That would be for a long run or a race, especially if it's hot. Or if you're sweating a lot as well. It really depends on how much you're sweating. But in general, when it's really hot out, our bodies are trying to cool us down. So they're going to be sweating a lot more than normal. So what was I going to say with that? So salt. Yeah, so salt is also not just enough, because I also mentioned those other electrolytes are important because you want to prevent cramping as well. So magnesium, potassium are also important, and that's why it's good to try an electrolyte. So Brad here said, we just recently found MLNT electrolyte mix. We are loving it. Have you tried it? I have tried. Have I tried that? No, I haven't tried it. Sorry, I have a client. I believe I have a client that is using that. So yes, that is a good one. Some other ones as well that I've heard of other people trying or using or have used myself and like them, and that are vegan and plant-based are Huma, Talon, and Noon. Noon is probably, I would say, the sweetest one that some people don't like because they're not used to eating a lot of, sugar and things that are sweet. So usually Noon is the one that people may not prefer as much. You can water them down a little bit if they're too sweet. The only thing is you do want to be mindful of that is if you do water it down, then you're not probably getting the recommended amount of electrolytes that you actually need. So to give you a good kind of rule of thumb as well, for long runs and races, you should be drinking electrolytes 16 ounces before, sips during. I like to take my hydration pack and just sip it. That seems to work really well for me. Or 16 to 20 ounces every 15 minutes if you took a handheld water bottle with you. And then another good test as well is if you don't think you're hydrating enough, is if you're okay with this and you don't have, any kind of, I guess, body image issues or things like that going on that kind of prevents you or you feel like you shouldn't get on the scale at all. A good way to test that too is doing a sweat test and weighing yourself before and after your run, so you can actually figure out how much fluid you're losing. The only thing with that is it's going to really depend on the environment, how long you go for, your speed, your pace, right? The temperature, the humidity level, it's all going to differ. So you can do that, but it really is going to really depend. So it's not really going to be like, okay, this is how much I should be drinking after or during every single time. It really is going to depend. But say you did do that, and just wanted to see if you didn't feel like you drank enough and were, wanted to see how much you should replacing. I believe it's about 16 ounces of fluid per body, per 1 pound of body weight loss is what you want to replace after. But that's also better to figure that out to kind of just give you a rough estimate or idea of how much you should actually be replacing during instead of just after. Because I don't know about you guys, if anyone's experienced this, but for me, I have gotten headaches before not replacing my fluid. And even afterwards, if I don't get enough in right afterwards, or maybe it's really hard to do that, I end up getting a headache. And so I have found that when I sip on electrolytes and, really make sure I'm drinking something during, it really does help a lot. What else? Shorter races as well. You do want to make sure to use electrolytes on those hot summer days, that even if it's 5K, even if it's 3 miles, it's fast and quick, and you're going to be out there and sweating a lot, you still want to make sure to take electrolytes before, not just, probably before and after, but not just water. And is there anything else? I think that was it. I'm not going to talk too much about fueling because I don't want to go too much into that, but just another reminder as well, and I think I've talked about this before, is for the fueling, make sure to, especially for summer races and summer training, hydration is most important, but also fueling. So just make sure you're fueling as well before, during, and after your events as well. And this goes for any endurance events that are being held outside. All of these things, really can, I think, make a difference, really help you to stay hydrated and really prevent heat stroke as well. So with that said, I know I don't have too many people on, but does anybody have any questions for me? This is your time as well. I don't have too much time left because I actually did talk a lot, but this is your time as well to ask me, to ask your dietitian any questions that you guys have. It can be about the topic we talked about today, hydration for summer training and races, or any nutrition related topics that are kind of coming up for you that you want to ask away. You're welcome to comment below. And if it's after I'm not live anymore, I can always come back and answer your question as well. So do I have any questions? I'll take a sip of water while I'm waiting. Okay. Doesn't look like there's any questions, so that's good. As I said, if anyone does have any questions, you are welcome to still comment below and I can get back to you as soon as I can. And then a couple things just to wrap up here is, make sure again to like, follow, subscribe to Virtual Veg Fest so you don't miss out on anything that any content, any videos, trainings, anything like that, information that they give out. And also make sure to enter the contest this month as well. And thank you again to Virtual Veg Fest, but also Virtual Veg Fest sponsor Argain, who is our sponsor of the month. So that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And hopefully we will talk to you guys all again very soon, which will be in about a month, right? Yes, so we're doing these every month now. So I will talk to you guys next month, but don't hesitate to reach out to me as well if you do have any questions at all. Bye.